I'm Josh Muccio, and from Gimlet Media, this is The Pitch, where real entrepreneurs pitch to real investors.
Wonderful. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Hi.
Morning. Welcome.
That's Courtney and Tye Caldwell, and they're here today to ask for $1 million for ShearShare, a mobile app they say will do for salon owners what Airbnb did for homeowners.
We're literally transforming an entire industry. I mean, this is a more than 100-year-old industry.
Transforming an entire industry is a heavy lift for any entrepreneur. But Tye and Courtney are first-time founders and totally unproven. And this is their first time raising VC. Will this husband and wife team be able to convince investors that they have what it takes to disrupt a century-old industry?
I'm Daniel Galati.
Daniel is with Comcast Ventures.
I'm Jillian Manis.
Jillian is with Structure Capital.
I'm Phil Nadell.
Phil is with Forefront Venture Partners. And I'm proud to introduce a new voice on the show.
I'm Nicole Verkent.
Nicole is an angel investor. All right, let's get this pitch started.
All right, tell us about yourself.
Wonderful. My name is Courtney Caldwell, and together with my co-founder, Tye, we're the creators of a B2B mobile platform called ShearShare.
Before ShearShare, Courtney and Tye were co-owners of a salon in Dallas, Texas.
It started way back in 2012.
Seems like forever ago.
And when it came to hiring stylists, they did things the way they'd always been done.
The way that stylists find professional space to work has not changed since 1916. You sign a long-term contract, and you're literally renting out of this one particular chair or suite for 3, 5, even 10 years. And that stylist is then paying out a weekly booth rent or a monthly booth rent. So you're literally locked into a contract.
For over a century, long-term contracts seemed to make sense to salons and stylists. They gave salons a reliable source of income, and they gave stylists a home base from which to work. But suddenly, that system stopped working.
I realized in the course of 6 to 9 months that nobody was trying to sign a long-term lease. But I had interest from a stylist who wanted to rent my space by the day.
A stylist renting a chair in a salon for the day was unheard of. But since no one wanted to sign a longer-term lease, Tye had to consider it.
So we thought about it. I said, you know what? My station in suite is collecting dust rather than dollars. So I took her out to lunch, asked her a few questions. We both decided to give it a whirl. And lo and behold, we both enjoyed the process. We both enjoyed the experience.
Not only did they enjoy the process, but it worked. The stylist was happy because she was able to have some flexibility. And Tye and Courtney were happy because their stations were collecting dollars, not dust. And it got them thinking. Their salon wasn't the only one struggling to sign long-term contracts with stylists. In fact, Courtney says that 40% of salon space in the US goes unused. So they had an idea. What if they created an app that lets stylists find salon space to rent by the day? Before they went all in on the idea, they decided to run it by a friend with experience in tech.
And so we told her our idea and what we've been going through, and she was like, she paused, and then she said, okay, that's $1 billion idea.
A few years and plenty of blood, sweat, and shears later, their idea is now reality.
So they're not, at first I was a little confused. You're not renting out the whole salon.
No.
Right, you're renting out a chair. By the way, I am a slave to my hair. Let's start there.
And you are
so mine.
You are slaying right now.
I'm slaying right now.
I am absolutely.
Okay, I'm a total slave. And so, and Phil is, for his virtual hair, you're a slave to it. But I do get this. But the salons are more open now to having a rotation of stylists
Great question.
come in. But what's the value to them, to the salons, in addition to the chairs being filled?
Yeah, so the benefit to the salon is that they have an empty space, right? They're already paying overhead for that space. Right. So this excess capacity, they get to monetize that. The person gets to literally come in, they have their own book of business, so they're not taking clients off the street, they're not taking walk-ins. They get there, they do their clients, and then they're done.
Just so I'm clear, so they're coming in for like 2 days a week.
2 days a week.
2-3 days a week.
Absolutely.
They've got their regular base of clientele.
Their own clientele.
They need the accoutrement.
Yeah.
That they can't get at home, right? They need all the like setup and the
Exactly.
And they don't want to pay a long term. They don't want to be locked in. They don't want
to be locked in.
No.
So they might work for 3 months and then, do something else for 3 months and come back on. So that...
Or they can do 3
it's a
days a week.
consistency. It's a consistency
Just
of
part
days.
time.
What are they doing for the rest of They're not.
They're licensed
other things.
professionals, so they're
Yeah.
constantly doing this.
Yeah.
It's
But
not,
if they're part-time in the salon, are they part-time in another salon? Or they're in...
They can be.
they can go to lots of
They
salons.
can.
They're
I'm
meeting
trying to
their clients.
understand, is that
They're meeting
typically-
their clients where they're at. So they may have a pod of clients that are in Berkeley. They may have a pod of clients that are in Palo Alto.
Right, yes.
So they'll put all those clients together in maybe a Thursday and Friday and say, these are the days I'm going to be in Palo Alto.
So far, the investors have been super engaged in this pitch right from the start. They're talking over each other and barely able to get out a question before another investor chimes in with their 2 cents. And I think this has a lot to do with the fact that Tye and Courtney's business is built on the back of the sharing or gig economy. Over the past several years, we've seen some huge successes in this space. Think Uber and Airbnb. And every investor wants a piece of the next one that hits. But while this share economy trend might mean investors will give a startup like ShearShare a good hard look, it also means they're competing in a pretty crowded space.
So I'm an investor in Stylisted. Stylists come to your home, to your office, whatever. So how do you view that as in terms of the competitive landscape? Do you see that as being competitive?
I don't see it as being competitive in a sense because you're catering to the customer. Most people want to get out, put some clothes on, get out, meet their friends,
It's an experience.
and have the experience of the salon.
I don't know. I really think it's competitive. I mean,
I do too.
Pepsi's only competitor isn't Coke. It's also milk and water and other things you might want to drink. So that's like a different way to get your hair cut.
Good
right?
thought. But when you think about the stylists, they want the freedom and flexibility to do whatever they want to do. So whether or not their clientele wants a salon experience or someone wants a quick blow dry, like I would never get my hair done at home. Never. Would never get a service in my home.
So people that are using Style B or Stylistic, if they're
Yeah, all
licensed, they
licensed.
still may want to use this when
I actually was
In
going to say
addition
that.
to?
Because
So it's complimentary.
Yeah, it's
right?
complimentary.
We actually have stylists who use us, who do the on-demand, and people who
So
work
it all
full
depends on what the
time.
client wants.
Yes.
And it depends
It's
on
just
how
one
the
of the things they can offer
how
them.
the stylist wants to build their book of business. Because a lot of stylists want to build their clientele in other cities, and how can they do that? Without having a salon home per se,
it's also
and the own data that we have. I mean, we didn't even mention that we have data that no one else has ever had access to. Like how much is a stylist willing to pay to work by the day? Where are they going? Are they staying in their town? Are they going across state to state? How many clients are they doing? So we can ask these questions now.
Did you hear that? Courtney said the magic word, data. If you're playing pitch bingo, you can check that box. Okay, but for real, data, the growing gig economy, that's all exciting for the future of the company. But what about now?
What's your traction? Tell us a little bit about your traction.
Okay, so we launched the beta app in September 2016. By design, we made sure that we built up the supply side of the marketplace first, because having to go out and educate salon owners, as you can imagine, who have been doing the same thing for over 100 years, helping them understand this is a brand new revenue stream for you. So we are now in 380 cities in 11 countries. We're growing 20% month over month.
How many users does that represent?
Yeah, so 1,900 monthly active users. We are...
Sorry, 1,900
monthly active
users.
Right, the salons and the stylists. So we have 700 hosts on the platform.
700
yeah,
salons,
sorry.
Yes.
1,200 stylists?
Yes, correct.
700 salons in 11 countries?
Yes. Yes.
Isn't that
and
few?
11 countries. That's
Sorry.
to spread it out. It's all, but the 11
Russia,
countries,
Germany,
yeah.
Barbados.
So
one
in those countries,
England.
you only have a couple, and then
Right,
you probably
it
have a
seems.
big concentration.
one in many. Yes, like
Okay,
one in
okay.
Russia, one in Germany.
so
We're
what's
focused
your-
on the U.S.
700 salons sounds good until you hear that they're scattered across 11 different countries. For a startup like ShearShare to gain serious traction, they need to be a much bigger presence in every market they go into.
So of the 700 salons, like kind of like what's your biggest city today? I guess?
Dallas and
Okay.
New York. Dallas,
And how
New
many
York,
salons
LA.
is that?
There are over 2,500 in
Yeah,
Dallas.
so there's a lot more market saturation you can have within Dallas.
We're just scratching the surface.
What are
So
you doing?
what drove you guys to make the decision to kind of go wide versus deep in one market? It seems to me that like this is a classic kind of two-sided marketplace business.
It is.
And the textbook says like get density in one city, stand up the supply side and then get that network effect going and then just
Great
like
question.
replicate.
In other words, the conventional wisdom says that they should try to dominate one market before they move into tons of new territories. Let's take the company Grubhub, which also owns Seamless, as an example. They own upwards of 75% of the restaurant delivery business in the US. One of the reasons they've been able to be so successful is they started out in one city, in this case, Chicago, and partnered with a ton of restaurants in order to become the go-to delivery service there. To use Daniel's words, they stood up the supply side. Then, and only then, did they expand into a new city. If ShearShare wants to become the go-to for stylists, this piece of the puzzle is mission critical.
So why isn't the strategy just buy the supply side in your key markets, like own it, and then go to the demand side?
That's exactly
You'd
what
have
we're
to do
doing
that in
right
one
now.
city. You'd have to do that in one city, though, right?
But why
Not
would-
11 countries.
We're focusing on Dallas,
Yeah.
exactly, because that's home base for us for one, but also because we've been winning in Dallas. And you guys honestly sound like one of our very last team meetings where we said we have to go deep in our top 3 cities, but we're going to really focus hard on Dallas. Yeah. And we're creating a playbook, mind you, that we can just copy and paste for every other city.
So like, what are you seeing on the overall just net revenue to you guys per salon that you have on the system per some unit of time, let's call it a month?
A month, okay. So with the current host that we have, the average revenue for that particular host per month, it's really about $800 a month, roughly.
And that's
that we're
gross.
bringing
That's
additional.
net to you guys, or is that gross? That's GMV.
That's the booking on, yes.
And
top
you'll
line.
take, so it's like $200 ish to you guys.
Right now.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay, so what's your monthly recurring revenue?
Yes, 18,700 was last month.
Okay. I'm a little worried about your revenues. Okay, which you have 18,000
Yes.
right now a month, and yet you have 700 salons, 1,200 stylists.
With 700 salons at $200 in revenue per salon, ShearShare should be pulling in 6 figures a month. But in reality, it's less than 20,000.
It just seems like you have a lot of salons and a lot of users, I mean, relatively speaking, stylists, and revenues, there's something that doesn't make sense to me. Revenue is very low compared to, are a lot of the salons inactive? Are a lot of the stylists inactive?
Well, it's just, and to piggyback off that, you kind of do the math.
Yeah.
And you say there are 2,000, not even salons, like total clinics, salons, in Dallas. You're getting $200 per premises per month. What's that? That's like $400K in market size. If you get 100% of the market in a pretty big city. I guess to Phil's point, what are we kind of missing there? Because that's a pretty small market size.
No, so
I think what they're asking is just the consistency of use.
Yeah.
So what you're seeing is the use, but the consistency. Once the consistency ramps up, those numbers will get.
So the bet is we can 10x the revenue per salon per month
because of the
by
use.
increasing utilization.
Let me understand
More
that.
stylists.
When you say consistency of use, so specifically, are you saying that salons will rent out more chairs,
No, the
or they'll
stylists
get
will use it much more, much
It sounds
faster.
to me like you've got salons that for sure say, I have some seats open, I'd love to do this. And then you have stylists that say, I love this, is amazing. But it's not that often maybe that they have their core clients at their salon and then they have their independent ones. And there maybe not be that many because the culture hasn't fully shifted yet. Is that kind of
But you've got to believe
accurate?
a massive culture shift
Has to happen.
to get there, right? Because
For me, culturally, I just go to my salon. I always go to a book. And so for
But what you were saying before, so you might have like a salon who says, I have a seat available, and they use the app, and they find a stylist, and that person maybe takes the seat for one day, a week, or a month.
just a couple
So
clients.
you may have one person, okay, say they use it one time a month. And so they say, okay, well, you know what? I like what I'm doing. My clientele is getting bigger. I'm going to use it 8 times a month, twice a week, and still have a home salon.
Yeah.
So that's
The stylist is making that
the
decision.
stylist is making that decision. Yes. So those are the numbers where you may say it's low, but the consistency and the more
Increased
usage.
use.
Yes.
Increased
My
use
gut is they have
what-
their core business, and this is where they get extra revenue.
Yes.
Right? As a stylist.
And that's the case when they're already in their contract. When they get out of their contract, we have people that's out of their contract that are using it because they're not working 7 days a week. They're not working but 4 days in a week. They're not working but 3 days in a week. So they're using ShearShare because they don't have to worry about the overhead costs anymore now. We really believe we're in the front of it. We're in the front of the shift.
Tye and Courtney are basically saying, sure, people aren't using our app as much as we'd like yet, but eventually this will be the only way that stylists work. No more long-term contracts. Just trust us. But why should investors take a gamble on them?
And forgive me, I didn't get to give our professional backgrounds.
Courtney gestures towards Tye.
So 25 years in beauty and barbering, 20 years as an award-winning salon owner, best-selling author on how to achieve long-term success in the beauty and style industry. Books available on Amazon.com. And he has
What's the name of it?
Mentored by Failure.
Oh,
He never likes to
great
talk about
name.
himself. That's
Great
why I
name.
have to do the ad for him. And he's a doctorate. He has his doctorate degree in professional barbering.
Wow.
So like
Oh,
top
wow.
of the top of the top of the top. There's
A
no
doctorate in professional barbering.
Yes.
That's
Are
amazing.
you the only one?
There's
only a
celebrity
few.
stylists.
There's only
Yeah.
a few, and they're very high in the industry. Celebrities travel.
Where did you? I'm
Miracle
just curious, where
University,
did you-
Miracle University in Virginia,
Martinsville.
Wow.
Martinsville,
I
Virginia.
know. So my background is 20 years in tech marketing, B2B technology marketing.
Oh.
So I used to run Oracle's digital strategy and innovations group worldwide, had P&L across 5 continents. We're the right team to figure out this problem, and we're doing it every day. Every day we get phone calls. Gonna cry. Every day we
Don't
get
make
phone
me cry.
calls from people saying that
So I don't know if it's okay for me to like jump
Cry?
not cry, just jump in here.
Nicole is ready to give her decision.
I just want to say you guys fit my investment thesis perfectly. So I'm not a full-time investor. I'm actually an operator. I'm an entrepreneur. I've done 2 startups. My current startup is actually very similar to your business. So I love what you guys are doing. I think it's amazing, and it really fits exactly. And I love you guys. So I would come in on these terms. It would be a smaller amount. It'd be $25K. But for me, I would want to figure out how I can help you guys. So
Fantastic.
maybe you can tell me that, but that's the one piece that we would have to talk about and figure out how I can actually add value. Because I can't just throw money into something. I'd have to figure out how to actually add value there too.
thank you.
Nicole is in with a $25,000 personal investment. Daniel is up next.
I think you guys are awesome, and I think you're really building a business that like touches people's livelihoods,
Literally.
right? Like on the salon side and on the stylist side. I think that the excess capacity problem is a big problem on the salon side, and I think you've articulated it really well. Where I ultimately, so I'm a venture guy, so I'm sort of coming from the opposite end of the food chain to some of these guys. And really the test for me is market size is obviously a huge driver. And for me, where I ultimately kind of got tripped up was this, just kind of doing the math around like the number of salons and revenue per salon and how do we get to be a really big two-sided marketplace versus kind of a smaller, more niche two-sided marketplace. And so purely from that perspective, I'm going to sit this one out and pass. Okay. But I have a lot of respect for what you guys are doing, have a lot of respect for your guys' backgrounds and how far you've taken this. And
Thank you.
Kind of think you can take it 10 times further than what you already have.
Daniel, he's out. Phil is up next.
So you know what I love about this is you guys.
Yes.
I mean, you are the embodiment of this business, right? You found a problem because you were living the problem, and you identified it that way, and now you figured out a solution. You're addressing the problem, and those are the best businesses. People who've lived the problem and then solved the problem, and so I think that's great. Like Daniel, I'm struggling with market size, and I see this as a way for stylists or salons to generate ancillary revenue, and I don't know that the behavioral change that's required is there yet. And the other reason that I am struggling is, as I mentioned, I know what you said about the service being complementary to companies like Stylisted, which is one of my portfolio companies. I just worry about a little bit of a conflict, which I try to avoid at all costs in my portfolio. So I'm worried about some overlap in focus there as well. So for those reasons, I'm going to pass.
Okay, thank you.
Phil is out. Jillian is the last investor left.
Jillian wants in.
Come on in, Jillian.
Hi, you don't know what Jillian wants.
Why don't you tell us?
Jillian loves
So,
hair.
yes. So there are like 5 things that are really, really important. One is that you meet our thesis, which is spot on. 2 is that you meet our mission, our personal purpose and mission, which is spot on. 3 is that you live this, you breathe it, and as you said, right, that you are a personification of this business. You are an extension. It starts with you, it ends with you. You're a full loop. I love this for so many reasons. I do think your revenue model, it takes a while to figure out the pricing models. I get it, and that's something we definitely would have to massage. I'm going to come in personally at 100,000. But what I also am going to do is I'm going to bring this to structure capital because this is so much. Okay. I don't know how that 100 is going to work out, and it might end up to be 250 or might have to be more. But the fact is that I think you're just the people we need to get behind. And I totally see this us being disrupted. And don't cry. I make people cry. What's wrong with me? I make everyone cry.
You made Dr. Tye cry.
You have a 100% ratio
I am so
today.
sorry. And by
Well,
the way,
I mean, I'll say this. I mean, the reason that I cry is because I'm the 7th of 8 kids, and my mom has always believed in me. So when she let me move to Dallas at 15 on my own to live with my sister, she always told me, she said, I've always believed in you. And now my mom can't really share in that with me because she has dementia. So the things that I'm living for her. And then you lose a lot of friends when you're a startup, and when people don't understand you, you just kind of have to kind of keep moving. And we're outliers. And so when people don't understand you, it doesn't really bother us because we deal with the emotions of it, of losing friends. But at the end of the day, we know that God has something better for us. And so to be a woman Black founder and a male Black founder in such a intense, I say, founder of Anglos, it means a lot to us to be those role models. And so these tears are just, an amazement that other people can believe in what we're doing because we had to believe it first. So we thank you, for the ones who are not investing, and because, we believe the feedback is valuable.
well, guess what? I think we all believe in you. I think we all believe in you. And also, you're not just role models for people of color. You're actually role models for all of us.
We believe it.
So
we
thank
believe
you.
It. Yeah.
Thank you. At the end of the day, if everyone knows the golden rule, right? But our silver rule, whether it's home or in the business, is you got to leave people, places, and things better off than when you found them.
Amen on that.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
You guys did a great
You
presentation.
did a
Thank you so much.
fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much.
I think we should bring tissues. Oh, this is.
Nice meeting you, Dr. Tye.
You're going to do this. Oh, I know we are. You're going to do this.
Courtney and Tye just reeled in approximately $125,000 in commitments from Nicole and Jillian. They walk out of the room, leaving our investors to dry their eyes.
Oh, my God. I love them.
This has been an emotional.
Yeah,
Jillian, I never cry. I'm like a steel. Like I never cry. I started crying.
She started crying, then he started crying.
they
Thinking
were
to
great.
myself, one of the sponsors for the show should be Kleenex.
I actually don't think they are necessarily VC ready. I think the two of you are right in that.
Yes.
But they're right because they haven't figured out. I don't think
No,
they figured
but
out the
I think-
revenue
It's early.
piece
It's
yet,
early.
and it's
For
early.
seed.
I just love the way they built it. It
Yes.
reminds me of me. I
Yes.
see myself in them
Totally.
6-7 years
Completely.
ago building my company.
By the way, their product is really good.
Yeah,
I mean, it
it's
is
beautiful.
really,
Oh,
as
the
you
app
said,
looked great.
App looked great, easy use, really, as
Very
you said,
intuitive,
intuitive.
yeah.
I think marketplace building is kind of like an art. Like, there are playbooks that you can look to.
Absolutely.
And I think my biggest thing for them is they just could use a little bit of more, I guess, intentionality
Yes.
on building the
Yes.
two-sided marketplace.
They're just
Yes.
responding to customers so much.
Totally.
Yes.
Which is
The
which
thing
is
I love
actually
about them is
great.
they're responding to customers,
Right.
and
But
then
it's
the
like-
thing that's bad about them is that they're like, I want this app in this city, and they go,
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
almost like you need to
Gotta
pull
stay
up and
laser
be more
focused.
strategic.
Right,
Don't
they have to
doubt.
be right. They have to be very laser focused
Yeah.
right now. But I have to say that we have so many marketplaces in our portfolio
Yeah.
that and
I'd
we
intro them
use-
to
we-
5 CEOs.
That's
of
what I'm
your-
going to do.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I actually wrote down
Yeah.
who I'm going to turn them on
Yeah.
to. There are 2 in particular. Absolutely. I just in a way, this is why we do what we do,
Yeah.
right?
I
That's
do
why
it
I
for
love
the
the
free
pitch.
bananas.
Okay, go get your banana. All right, another banana for Phil. Here we go. Another banana. You and your bananas.
Phil heads off in search of his free banana as I nail this tease to an ad break. When we come back, things get shaky with the investment. Welcome back. Okay, before I tell you what happened next, I need to set the scene. The pitch you just heard happened on the first of our 3-day pitch event in San Francisco. Everyone left that first day in high spirits. But the next morning, Jillian came in and dropped a bombshell on me. She couldn't invest personally in ShearShare because of another personal investment she made in a potential competitor, a company called StyleBee. It looked like the whole deal was off. And once Jillian said she was probably out, Nicole started having second thoughts too. I can't even express how disappointed I was. But there was one hope left. Even though Jillian couldn't invest personally, that didn't mean her fund couldn't invest. Remember, Jillian mentioned she was going to take the deal to her partners at Structure Capital. Generally speaking, these deals are a lot harder to close than angel investments. The due diligence process is more rigorous, and there are just more people that have to say yes. When we left California, everything was still up in the air. Fast forward 2 weeks, Jillian says she's talked to her partners and they have some serious questions they want Jillian to ask Tye and Courtney. They all hopped on a call together and we recorded it.
On a safe. Okay.
Here's Jillian getting right to business.
All right. So here's one of the big questions. We've seen married couples, but as you know, it creates tremendous amount of stress, and we've seen companies blow up because of founders not being able to work out their differences. With a married couple, there's another layer to this. And this is something that we do have some concerns about. And yet, there's an issue that we've discussed that we know will create some problems if we broach this topic, but we have to broach this topic. And it's why, Courtney, why you're not the CEO, why Tye is the CEO.
Yeah, no, great question. The visionary, the person with the subject matter expertise, in beauty, in barbering, and salon ownership and team management in this particular field is Tye. It was the impetus behind ShearShare was Tye's vision all along. I am definitely, he would say, the best executor that there is, operations wise. And he is the one who sees the forest for the trees, and whether that means.
So wait, Courtney. I want Tye to answer this.
Oh, sure.
Well,
Okay.
and Courtney led well. When we first started this out, I've always been a leader in my own right. Kind of what you call an owner, CEO of my own company. So I've always been a visionary to the things that I wanted to see forthcoming. And when we talked about this, I've always told my wife, I was like, if we ever did business together, I would love for you to be, right alongside me because I like the way you execute. She's always said that she was a great number 2. And I said, well, being a great number 2 is always a great number 1B, as well. So never count yourself out of 1. And, so I didn't choose her as a business partner. The business partner came in because God came in between our relationship, and that's what he wanted us to do. I'm just glad that he chose her for me as a wife first and a business partner second. And that's just how we work it. So we never really sat back and thought about me being a CEO or her being a COO or anything else.
So what happens when you have a disagreement?
The two of us, or
Yeah, about the product. Have you had that before?
Of
And
course.
have you remedied that?
So that's the beauty of having a relationship, not only as co-founders, but as married couple, because you get a chance to work them out. It can get tough some days, but we know going in before we even started ShearShare that we were each other's
best ally.
best ally, and we were each other's keeper at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget when we first started, ShearShare, and we started doing the calls and calling up salons, getting them on board. Courtney came from Oracle, the corporate world, and Courtney, I said, Courtney, we're going to call these people, and I think I had stepped out and I was in a meeting call, and so she had started calling without me, and she said, babe, everybody's hung up on me. I said, well, what are you saying? and she was using corporate terminology and stuff like that. I said, hey, talk to these people like they're regular people. They're going to work every day. They're just hardworking people that have a craft and a skill and an artistry to what they do. Talk to them like normal, and I guarantee you everything would change. She did that, and she became a guru in talking to the stylist. That was one of the things that we learned early on, how we could help each other.
Definite refinement.
Great. Okay. Good. Okay. I like what I'm hearing. I'll be honest with you. I do always think that in our community, it's a tech-centric community, and I would prefer, Courtney, if you had the title of CEO, because I think that represents the high-tech piece, and because of your background with Oracle and your ability to understand and be able to communicate the technical pieces of the product. I think that I would like you guys to reconsider that and to talk about it. That said, okay, for me, it's not, as you can see, I'm not pushing that. I'm not saying I need you to do this or else, okay? I'm not going to be part of this. Hear that. All right?
Right. That's really good. That's really good feedback about the optics. That's something that we will weigh. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate that a lot.
I just think this has to be a conversation that you have when we hang up. That said, we'd like to put $250,000 into your company.
Oh my God.
You took us through all that, Jillian.
You want to know something, Courtney?
Wow.
I didn't know if I was going to put $250,000 into the company. Okay,
I respect that.
We had an investment partner meeting. We talked a lot about what the issues were, what the challenges, definitely there were some. And I said to the team, we said, if we feel comfortable and confident that they'll be able to navigate and speak openly and respectfully about our concerns, then this is what we would risk. And, with every company, it's always a risk. So, but there are a tremendous amount of rewards here. I think you're a stunning team.
Thank you.
And I love your spirituality too, to tell you the truth. I think that you're grounded in tremendous values. And as you guys know, I always say, we really invest into values, not just valuations. And that's truly important. I think you're going to build a culture of values, which is important to our own structure community. So with that, congratulations. You jumped through all the hurdles. And
wow.
Yes.
Jillian, I have, it's very rare that I have little words or no words, but you have you have stunted me right now. I wish I was in front of you so I could give you a big hug, because that would hopefully that would communicate what I'm feeling.
We'll do a virtual big hug.
There you go. I'll take it.
But with this 250 comes, a burden of proof.
Of course.
Right? A lot of hard work.
That's not the scary part. That is not the scary part for us.
Okay.
That's the easy part. If you bet on us, we have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's get rocking.
Thanks,
Let's
Jillian.
get to work.
Jillian. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Jillian hangs up, but the tape keeps rolling.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
I
didn't know what
to think.
What path we were going down. I was like,
I couldn't sleep last night.
oh my God.
I couldn't sleep for a lot of reasons. I said, I know they're going to have concerns. I knew that being a married couple is going to be a concern. To have a venture company like Structure, that's their thesis, is to invest in marketplaces.
And zero waste economy.
That's a whole nother level. So it was really godsend.
Well, Jillian's going to become my new BFF. I'm going to make her my new best friend.
She's going to be like my second mom.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. I love it. This is just the beginning.
Only the beginning. Yeah.
So let's go have a glass of wine and celebrate and have a
have a conversation.
Yeah, big conversation and just enjoy it.
All right.
Enjoy the moment. All right.
Love you.
All right.
Tye and Courtney had plenty to talk about and plenty to celebrate. And then, a couple of days later, they got even more good news. Nicole's $25,000 angel investment had also come through. And then Charles Hudson with Precursor Ventures, another investor who's been on the show, decided to join the round, coming in for another $250K. Altogether, ShearShare received over $500,000 in funding. And then, right before this episode aired, they appeared at Google's demo day and won. They received another $250,000 from J.D. Vance, one of the judges, and ended up oversubscribing their $1 million seed round. Not too shabby for a couple of first-time founders in their first ever round of fundraising. Our show is produced by me, Josh Muccio, Kareem Maddox, and Molly Donahue. We are edited by Devin Taylor. We're mixed by Enoch Kim. Original music composed by The Musemaker. Our theme music is by Breakmaster Cylinder. Thanks to Lisa Muccio for planning the recording of this pitch. We found out about ShearShare because of an introduction from Christy Pitts and the team at Backstage Capital. Founders who are raising money can apply to pitch by going to thepitch.show/apply. And as a reminder, no offer to invest is being made to or solicited from the listening audience on today's show. You've been listening to The Pitch from Gimlet Media. We'll be back with a brand new episode next Wednesday.